Hello everybody! It is whatever day it is, and it is whatever time it is, and it is time for the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz. Welcome those of you playing along at the normal time, 8 PM British. And welcome on a Tuesday. Welcome anyone playing later in the week or sometime in the far future where you are on your tea break from serving your Ant Masters or anything in the middle. For anyone who is new to the Quizcazoatl Publess Pub Quiz, this is a quiz in 4 parts. I should get through the questions now in about 40-45 minutes. But expect to take an hour or two when you play along at home. That difference in time is because we will be using the magic of the pause button. Whenever you need a moment, just hit pause. I will indicate pause opportunities with the international pause symbol. Voila. We will have a first round very shortly, a mix of questions, what I will be reading, and questions from our Quizcazoatl picture sheet. Let's unpause myself. You can, if you are playing within a week of this going out, you can download the picture sheet, bit.ly/quizcazoatl_pictures. If you are playing further in the future, they won't be available anymore, so you'll just have to wait until I put the pictures on screen. That should be okay anyway. But if you want to print them all out, by all means, follow the link, get them downloaded. We will then have a music round. We'll follow that with some more trivia and the second half of our pictures, and we will finish with our wipeout round. Do by all means feel not only free but actively encouraged to post your scores on the comment thread. The other teams, I'm sure, will be interested to see how you did. I did these questions yesterday with Jane and Lucy from Sounds a Bit Hippie to Me. And what did we get? We got, I think, 116 and a half, something, maybe 114 and a half. Something of that sort. So see whether you can't beat that. Anyway, without further ado, let us get going to question number 1. Which doll, produced since 1961, is famous for being Barbie's boyfriend? Which doll, produced since 1961, is famous as Barbie's boyfriend? Then question number 2. Chuck Taylor All-Stars is a model of shoe manufactured by which company? Chuck Taylor All-Stars are manufactured by which company? Question 3 takes us to the first of our pictures for today. And we have some fictional relatives this time. Can you give the names of the 6 people pictured? Half of them are real, half of them are fictional. I will let you try and work out which the real ones and which the fictional ones are. Each pair shares a surname. 6 points available. Question 4. Which webmail service was purchased by Microsoft in 1997 for an estimated $400 million? Which webmail service did Microsoft buy in 1997? And question number 5. The mathematical symbol for infinity resembles which number on its side? The mathematical symbol for infinity resembles the napping version of which number? Question 6 takes us to our second picture, and we have more Venn diagrams for you. All you have to do is work out what could replace those 3 question marks, fitting in both the set at the top and the set at the bottom. There's an example on the left if you need it. 3 points available. And question number 7. Draculin is an anticoagulant substance found in the saliva of which mammals? Which mammal dribbles Draculin? Question number 8. Can you name for me the 4 longest rivers that begin with a T that are completely in England, i.e. have no part in Wales or Scotland? The 4 longest rivers beginning with T that are completely in England. Question 9 takes us to our third picture, and we have yet more creature features for you. On the top right there, just for avoidance of doubt, it is the reptile which is the creature, not the person. Anyway, we have pairs of animal and other thing that rhyme. Can you work them out? The number of dashes indicates the number of letters we're looking for in each word. Question number 10. What word for a type of clothing fastener can also mean to falter under pressure? What word for a clothing fastener can mean falter under pressure? Question 11. During the 21-22 season of the first century of the third millennium, which 2 African footballers reached the career landmark of 100 goals in the English Premier League, Men's Premier League? Which 2 footballers have reached the career landmark of 100 goals in the English Premier League in the current season? And question 12 takes us to our 4th picture. We have 5 films for you, and there is an actor who featured in all 5 of them. 5 points to name the films. Looking for films exactly, not just the franchises this week. 5 points for the films and a 6th point for the actor. Question 13. Can you tell me which country joined the European Union most recently? All the fashionable countries are going the other way, but which country most recently joined the EU? Question 14 is picture number 5, which is our predictive texts. We have 2 animals hiding in the number pad from your Nokia 3210. Can you work out what they are? And question number 15. What does D&D stand for in the name of the fantasy tabletop role-playing game? What does D&D stand for? Question 16. Which month is mentioned in the 3rd line of the Shakespeare sonnet that begins, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day"? And question 17 is our 6th picture. Closing in on the end of round 1 already. We've got 4 logos for you. Can you identify the company or product represented by each of them? Question number 18. Can you tell me who was the King of England from 1199 through to 1216? Who was the King of England from 1199 to 1216? A bonus point to anyone who can tell me who did I just hang up on. Can't take a call when I'm recording a quiz, good grief. Our last picture for round 1 is picture number 7. 4 people born in the same year. Can you name them? And for a 5th mark, tell me the year of their birth. Plus or minus 1 either way. And our very final question for today's round 1. Podiatry is a branch of medicine that is devoted to which part of the human body? Podiatry is devoted to which part of the human body? That's the end of round 1, so put us on pause for as long as you would like to finalise your answers. Don't forget you can always use the rewind function on YouTube to see a question again. When you are ready, come on forward, we'll be going to the music round. Okie dokie, so in the music round I am going to be playing you 6 songs spanning the decades from the 1960s through to the 2010s. All I ask of you is that you can work out who the performing artist associated with each song is and what the song was called or is called. Occasionally, be warned, it has been known for there to be 2 musical artists collaborating on a track, in which case, half a point for each. I will play them for you once, and then you can use YouTube to replay them for yourselves as often as you like. Here we go.
Baby, do you understand me now? Sometimes I feel a little mad, but don't you know that no one alive can always be an angel? When things go wrong, I seem to be bad. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good.
Then I'm down at the bottom of the pit in the blazing sun, torn and twisted at the foot of a burning barn. And I think somebody somewhere must be tolling a bell, and the last thing I see is my heart still beating, breaking out of my body and flying away like a...
The oil down the desert way has been shaken to the top. The shaky drove his Cadillac, he went cruising down the hill. The prison was standing on the radiator grill. Tell me you don't like it.
Take me as I am, take my life, I would give it all, I would sacrifice. Don't tell me it's not worth fighting for. I can't help it, there's nothing I want more.
His words can bring me down, oh no, so don't you bring me down today. To all your friends, you're delirious, so consumed in all your doom.
I know my only mother wants her son back too. They're saying I'm the voice of the young black youth, and then I say yeah cool, and then I bum my zoo, and now I'm searching every corner of my mind. Search every corner, look for the answers. Look looking for the answers I can't find. I can find them, no silver lining. I have my reasons, life has its lessons. Try to be grateful and count all my blessings, but heavy is the...
Alrighty then. As I said, just go back and listen to those again if you would find it helpful. Otherwise, when you unpause me, we will be doing the round 1 marking. So get your marking pencils ready. I did forget at the head of the show to remind you that we will not be using the marking system. There is a marking system if you play the live show on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of the month. That is not active today, so hopefully you haven't filled out any forms. They will not be marked, I'm afraid. Anyway, back in a second. It's a second later, and round 1, question 1. We asked you which doll was Barbie's boyfriend. That was Ken. For question 2, Chuck Taylor All-Stars are manufactured by Converse. Question 3, we had 6 people. They were Trevor and Ronald McDonald. Then Kelly and Sherlock Holmes. And then Ashley and Maggie Simpson. Trevor and Ronald McDonald, Kelly and Sherlock Holmes, Ashley and Maggie Simpson. Question 4. Microsoft bought Hotmail in 1997. And a lot of spam it generated in the interim. Question 5. This symbol for infinity looks sort of like an 8 having a lie down. 8 for the point. And then question 6. 3 points for this one. If you got bar, nori, and me. That was drinking establishments meets synonyms of ban for bar. Sushi meets metal spelt backwards for nori. And me, that is things from Do Re Mi, meets country names with an al removed. Mali, of course, if you put an al in the middle. Hope that's clear. Question 7. Draculin is in the saliva of bats. Vampire bats, specifically. Imagine that. Then question 8. Our rivers in England were the Thames, the Trent, the Tees, and the Tyne. Thames, Trent, Tees, and Tyne for 4 points. Question 9. Our feature creatures, a big 8 points available on this one, were Antelope Kaleidoscope, the Alligator Gladiator, Chipmunk Kaplunk, and finally Termite Microlite. Antelope Kaleidoscope, Alligator Gladiator, Chipmunk Kaplunk, and Termite Microlite. Question 10. The clothing fastener that can mean falter under pressure is a buckle. We will also accept bow, as in bow. Buckle, really, we were after though. Then question 11. 2 footballers, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane, scored their 100th goal in the current season. 100th Premier League goal. Question 12. Our films were The Godfather. Then it's not Goodfellas, they're too old for any of that. That's The Irishman. Then we had Donnie Brasco. Then Scarface, then Heat, and the actor in common, Al Pacino, for a 6th point. The Godfather, The Irishman, Donnie Brasco, Scarface, and Heat. And it's Al Pacino. Question 13. The most recent accession to the European Union was Croatia. I don't know whether this is meant to be a joke. It has been noted here that Iceland's membership is currently frozen. Thus has much in common with the rest of Iceland. Question 14. 2 animals in the predictive text were a chinchilla and a manatee. Then question 15. D&D stands for Dungeons and Dragons. Question 16. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. May, that's probably a second line in the middle there sometime, but May for the point. Question 17, our logos were Wrigley's Extra, just extra is fine. The London Eye, just take a long hard look at yourself if you included the lastminute.com London Eye. This got into your head, the branding. Can't imagine why. Back to our quiz round about branding. Then we had Kawasaki, and finally the Robinson's Fruit Shoot. Extra, London Eye, Kawasaki and Fruit Shoot. Question 18. The King of England from 1199 to 1216 was King John. The clue was in the Magna Carta, if you knew when Magna Carta was signed. Then 4 people in picture 7 were Cyndi Lauper, Tony Blair, Benazir Bhutto and John Malkovich. And for the 5th point, they were born in 1953. Give yourself a point. Anything from 52 to 54. Cyndi Lauper, Tony Blair, Benazir Bhutto and John Malkovich. 20. Podiatry is devoted to feet. And that ends round 1. We'll mark the music round in a little bit. In the meantime, let us get on to our anagram for the start of round 2. And you rearrange for me the letters of no, I decline, to find a famous woman. N-O-I-D-E-C-L-I-N-E, a famous woman. Question number 2 of round 2. What is the nickname of the Turkish chef and restaurateur whose technique for seasoning meat became an internet meme in 2017? A Turkish chef who loves to season. Round 2, question 3 takes us to our 8th picture. We've got 4 triple initialed people for you. Can you identify them from these clues for 4 points? And then question number 4. To the nearest year, how long did Queen Victoria spend as a widow? We'll give you plus or minus 5 years on that one. How long was Queen Victoria a widow? Question 5. Can you tell me which English comedian's 2021 Netflix stand-up special is subtitled His Dark Material? Which English comedian's 2021 Netflix special is subtitled His Dark Material? Question 6 is another picture. We have some when they were youngs for you. 6 faces of people who were young and then became older. Can you name all of them for 6 points? Question 7. A commemorative statue of which 19th century travel agent stands outside Leicester railway station? A commemorative statue of which 19th century travel agent stands outside Leicester railway station? Question 8 is an audio question for you. We have no mystery voices today. Instead, we have some desert island disc descriptions. Can you identify 3 people from their desert island disc intros?
Number 1.
He blazed onto the circuit in the late 70s, irascible, petulant and utterly brilliant. A Grand Slam champion many times over, he spent 4 consecutive years ranked world number 1. These days, he's not only got a better haircut, but has matured into a wry, witty and wise commentator on the sport.
Number 2.
For 15 years, she's been making deals and occasionally dashing dreams in the BBC's Dragon's Den. Her own entrepreneurial fire sparked at a young age. By the time she was 7, she was selling flowers from a stall at the end of her family's driveway.
Number 3.
The author of Stardust, Sandman, Coraline, American Gods and The Graveyard Book, he specialises in creating fantastic alternative realities, which usually exist under the nose of the world as we know it.
As ever, just rewind and play them again if you need to. Question 9 now. Despite only having one audible line, Jean Dujardin became the first Frenchman to win the Best Actor Oscar. For which film? For what film did Jean Dujardin win a Best Actor Oscar despite having only one audible line? Question 10 takes us to picture 10, and we've got some more kangaroo words, as we apparently call them. Can you work out the synonyms that can fill in those blanks to give a word? So I always find this hard to explain. We're looking for a set of letters that make a word which is a synonym of the word you make with those letters and the other letters. It's all perfectly clear if you just look at it. Question number 11. Which art derives its name from the Greek words for dance and for writing? Which art derives its name from the Greek for dance and for writing? Question 12 takes us to picture 11. And we have, when they were young, brands. We've got 7 brands which are no longer current. Can you name the modern successors to each of these? 7 points available. And that is, I should say, as good a moment as any to go and do some music round marking. So, ears open, listen in. Let's see how you did. First off, from the 1960s, we had Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by The Animals. In the 70s then, we have a tribute to a singer who passed away recently. That was, of course, Bat Out of Hell by the one and only Meat Loaf. Bat Out of Hell by Meat Loaf. Into the 80s, we had Rock the Casbah by The Clash. Rock the Casbah by The Clash. Then in the 90s, Everything I Do It For You, Bryan Adams. In the 2000s, Christina Aguilera was singing Beautiful, Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. And finally, in the 2010s, we had Crown by Stormzy. Stormzy. Those again, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by The Animals. Bat Out of Hell by Meat Loaf. Rock the Casbah by The Clash. Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. And Crown by Stormzy. Back to the main quiz. Question 13. Which landlocked country was the first European team that won the America's Cup in sailing back in 2003? Which landlocked country nevertheless won the America's Cup? Question 14. It's another audio one, and it is more mashups for you. Listen in. Some of them are slightly cacophonous, frankly, but such is life. All I'm asking for from you is the artists whose music is featured in each of these 3 mashups. 2 artists per track. Generally, we're looking for 1 for the music, 1 for the lyrics. See whether you can work it out.
Number 1.
Tell my hand to come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. I say you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. 4, 5, 6, come on and get your kicks. Now you don't need...
Number 2.
For your brand new girl. Well, good for you, you look happy and healthy. Not me, if you want the kids to ask. Good for you, you're doing great out there without me, baby. God, I wish that I could do that. I've lost my mind, don't spend the night crying on the floor of my bedroom. You're so affected, I really don't get getting everything you want. You bought a new car and your career's really taking off.
Number 3.
You change your mind like a girl changes clothes. Yeah, you be a mess like a bitch, I would know. And you overthink, always speak critically. I should know that you're no good for me. 'Cause you're hot, then you're cold, you're yes, then you're no, you're in, then you're out, you're up, then you're down, you're wrong when it's right.
Alrighty, listen to those again if you need to, then we'll go to question 15. Question 15 takes us back to the pictures for picture 12, and we've got 4 pictorial phrases. Can you work out a phrase or saying from each of these pictorial clues? Question 16. The endometrium is the inner layer of tissue in which mammalian organ? The endometrium is the inner layer of tissue in which mammalian organ? Then question 17 is another picture. Can you tell me 4 one-letter changed TV programs? Question 18. First discovered on the moon, the mineral armalcolite is named after which 3 people? Just the surnames. After whom was armalcolite named? Our final picture for today's quiz is picture 14. We got some more battles for you. Can you tell me what all of these battles are from their location on the map and their date? And our very final question for this week, in round 2 anyway. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius that famously buried Pompeii happened in which year? I do want the exact year for this one. When did Mount Vesuvius erupt and bury Pompeii? And that being the last question of round 2, take a moment, rewatch anything you want to watch. For all I care, you can wait another 5 days and then do the wipeout round then. Or you can just play straight through even though I put the pause button on screen. You've got options. Alrighty, welcome back. Whenever it is, whoever you are, it is time for the wipeout round. The wipeout round is ever so slightly different to the rest of the quiz because the last letter of each answer becomes the first letter of the following answer. If you get all 6 wipeout questions right, then you can have 2 bonus points. Get that, 2 whole bonus points. But if you get any of them wrong, not just leaving them blank, but actively wrong, then you lose all your wipeout points. So be careful. If that is all understood, let's get to it. Wipeout question 1. What name is shared by a car manufacturer and the SI-derived unit of magnetic flux density? A name shared by a car manufacturer and the SI unit for magnetic flux density. Wipeout question 2. What is the common one-word name of the football team founded in Woolwich by munition workers? What is the common name of a football team that was founded in Woolwich by munition workers? Wipeout question 3. Which 1928 novel was subject to an obscenity case, and during which it was asked, is it a book that you would wish your wife or servants to read? This goes to show the sense of obscenity changes over time. Is it a book that you would wish your wife or servants to read? Wipeout question 4. Washington National Airport has been named after which famous person since 1998? Washington National Airport has been named after which famous person all the way since 1998? And Wipeout question 5. Which town is regarded as the surf capital of the UK and is host to the annual Boardmasters Festival? And finally, Wipeout question number 6. At a length of 3,900 miles, what is the longest river in Asia and the third longest in the world? That is the end of the Wipeout. So it's your last chance to finalise any Wipeout or indeed round 2 answers. In a moment, I will be reading them out so you can do your marking. Okay then, to close off another Quizcazoatl Lite, let's do the round 2 marking. No, I decline is an anagram of Celine Dion. Celine Dion for a point. The Turkish chef with the seasoning tendencies was Salt Bay. Don't ask me, but apparently Salt Bay. Then, number 3, we had 4 people from their initials. They were Jacob Rees-Mogg. Apparently his granddad was a trucker. Imagine that. Then Helena Bonham Carter. Then Ludwig van Beethoven. And finally, remembered more as an actress, I think, these days, but Lisa Marie Presley. Question 4. To the nearest whole year, Queen Victoria spent 39 years as a widow. 39 years. If you got something between 34 and 44, that will do. Question 5. The comedian whose stand-up special is subtitled His Dark Material and is presumably horrible is Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr for a point. And then question 6. When they were younger, they were just after his BCG, it's Novak Djokovic. Then we have Kate Bush, Harry Redknapp, top right there, Kate Blanchett. I thought it might be Bruce Forsyth, but it's actually James Gandolfini. And finally, we had Jerry Halliwell, or Jerry Horner, if you prefer. Jerry Halliwell or Horner. Novak Djokovic, Kate Bush, Harry Redknapp, Kate Blanchett, James Gandolfini, Jerry Halliwell. Question 7. There is a statue to Thomas Cook outside Leicester Railway Station. Question 8. The desert island descriptions were John McEnroe, then Deborah Meaden, and finally, Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman. Question 9. Jean Dujardin got an Oscar for his word parsimonious performance in The Artist. Question 10 are synonyms. So we're looking for the words that can go in the longer words. We had ruin to make destruction, rain to make precipitation, rot to make deteriorate, male to make masculine, cocoa to make chocolate, which is needed, and tutor, making instructor. 6 points there. Ruin, rain, rot, male, cocoa, tutor. Question 11. The Greek for dance and writing give us choreography. Question 12. The brands were Starburst, Starburst, then Rim changed its name to BlackBerry. Can't imagine why they didn't stick with Rim. Then we had eBay. Marathon became Snickers. We had a Walkman. Blue Ribbon, whatever it was, is now Nike. Blue Ribbon Sports, wasn't it? That was Nike. I would not have got that in a month of Tuesdays. And finally, Cellnet has turned into O2. Starburst, BlackBerry, eBay, Snickers, Walkman, Nike and O2. Question 13. The landlocked country full of sailors is Switzerland. Question 14. Our mashup. The first one we had Iggy Pop versus Jet. Iggy Pop and Jet. We then had Paramore and Olivia Rodrigo. Finally, we had the Commodores and Katy Perry. Iggy Pop and Jet, Paramore and Olivia Rodrigo, and the Commodores and Katy Perry. Our phrases and sayings for question 15 were read between the lines, throw in the towel, hand over fist, and cut to the chase. Read between the lines, throw in the towel, hand over fist, and cut to the chase. And then the endometrium is the inner lining of the uterus. Uterus there. Question 17. 4 TV shows were Top Gear, Emily in Paris, Afterlife, and 2.5 Men. And then Amalcolite is named after Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins for the 3 points. Question 19. Our 7 battles. We had, what was it? First World War naval battle, the Battle of Jutland. Then we had in what is now Belgium, the Battle of Waterloo. Just off of Spain, down there near Cadiz, is the Battle of Trafalgar. Related to certain obscene gestures, if you believe the hype, it's the Battle of Agincourt for the 4th. Then in the Crimea, the Battle of Balaclava. Down around and round about Constantinople, it's the Battle of Gallipoli. And finally, it's not the Battle of Snickers, it's the Battle of Marathon. Jutland, Waterloo, Trafalgar, Agincourt, Balaclava, Gallipoli and Marathon. And finally for round 2, Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. 79 AD. That leaves us only the wipeout to mark. So, as ever, listen in. If you got any of these wrong, deny yourself the rest of your wipeout points. It's an honesty system, but it's very important. The car manufacturer that is also a unit of flux density is Tesla. The team founded in Woolwich, though it has drifted north since, is the Arsenal. The book that you would not want your servant to read is Lady Chatterley's Lover. The famous person in the name of Washington National Airport is Ronald Reagan. Just Reagan is fine. The town that is the surf capital of the UK is Newquay. And finally, the longest river in Asia is the Yangtze. The Yellow River is the second longest. So if you put yellow, I'm afraid, lose your wipeout points. That takes us to the end of yet another Quizcazoatl Published Pub Quiz. We are gradually closing in on our 2nd anniversary edition. Can you imagine that? In the meantime, all that remains for me to say is enjoy yourselves, have a good week, try not to get the Omicron, and if you enjoy the quiz service, don't forget, we do still have our charity appeal open. Do feel free to make a donation to Médecins Sans Frontières or your preferred charity of choice in our honour. We continue to appreciate your ongoing generosity. And see you next week for Quizcazoatl Live.